Welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to introduce you to the Super Advanced Camera add-on, a key component of the Pidgeon Tool Bag. The Super Advanced Camera is accessible through the main section of the Pidgeon Tool Bag, as well as in the Camera Data panel and the Compositor side panel. It adds a layer of advanced functionality and control to your Blender camera, enhancing your 3D project's visual storytelling. If your scene lacks a camera, Super Advanced Camera will alert you. Upon adding a camera, you'll notice at the top a drop-down to select from all available cameras in the scene, along with several sections. We will focus primarily on the main panel, divided into 3 parts: camera, color grading, and effects. Let's dive into the camera section. The render settings are global and not tied to a specific camera. They allow you to fine-tune the resolution and frame settings of your render. Width and height. These settings determine the pixel dimensions of your rendered image. The width is the horizontal dimension, while the height is the vertical dimension. Scale acts as a percentage multiplier for the width and height. For instance, a scale of 50% will render the image at half the original resolution. This is useful for quick previews or when full resolution is not required. Below, in the Frames subsection, you can set the start and end frames and control frame skipping with the Frame Step feature. Start frame and end frame. These define the beginning and end of your animation sequence. The start frame is where the animation begins, and the end frame is where it concludes. Frame Step determines how many frames should be skipped during rendering. For example, a frame step of 2 means Blender will render every second frame, which can speed up rendering for previews. Time duration display. For each of the above values, Super Advanced Camera displays the corresponding real-life time duration. This feature is helpful for aligning your animation with time-based constraints like music or voiceover. Use Preview Range. This feature allows you to set a separate range for previewing your animation, different from the actual render range. It's particularly useful for checking simulations or specific segments of a longer animation. Preview start and end frame. Set the frames for your preview range, independent of the main animation frames. Set start or end frame. These buttons let you quickly assign your current frame in the timeline as either the start or end frame of your animation, streamlining the animation setup process. Current frame shows the current frame number updated in real time as you scrub through the timeline. Frames per second sets the playback speed of the animation measured in frames per second. More frames per second results in smoother motion. Base value works as a multiplier on the frames per second value, allowing you to simulate different playback speeds. This is particularly useful for creating slow motion or fast-forward effects. Time stretching is a game changer for creating slow motion or time-lapse effects. Time stretching maintains your keyframes, but interpolates additional frames between them, effectively changing the animation's playback speed without the need to manually adjust keyframes. For instance, changing from an original duration of 1 to a new duration of 2 will double the frame count, slowing down the animation. By mastering these settings, you can ensure that your renders are not only visually stunning, but also optimized for your specific needs, be it for quick previews, detailed animations, or time-lapse effects. These tools empower you as an artist to bring your creative visions to life with precision and flexibility. The lens section controls your camera's lens characteristics. The tilt-shift option in Super Advanced Camera is about adjusting the focus plane of your camera to create a specific visual effect. The feature has 2 modes. Tilt-shift mode. Here, the lens is physically tilted relative to the image sensor. This adjustment changes the plane of focus, allowing for selective focus effects often used to simulate miniature scenes. It also rotates the camera slightly, emphasizing the effect and providing a unique perspective. Regular shift mode. This mode only shifts the lens without tilting. It's used to capture images from angles that would be otherwise challenging or impossible. This could involve shifting the lens to one side to avoid obstacles or to capture a wider field of view without moving the camera's position. Focal length and field of view. These settings control the camera's zoom level and the angle of view. Focal length, measured in millimeters. This setting mimics the focal length of real-world camera lenses. A smaller number indicates a wider lens, capturing more of the scene. This is similar to using a wide-angle lens on a smartphone or an action camera. On the other hand, a larger number results in a narrower view, similar to zoom lenses used for distant subjects in sports or wildlife photography. Field of view. This setting, often used in video games, represents the observable world at any given moment. directly correlated with the focal length but expressed in degrees. A wider field of view allows more of the scene to be seen, while a narrower field of view focuses on a smaller part of the scene. Minimum and maximum visible distance. These settings optimize what the camera renders based on object distances. Minimum visible distance. This setting determines the closest distance at which objects are rendered. It's useful in interior scenes where you want to clip out foreground objects, like walls, that obstruct the camera's view without altering the scene's lighting setup. Maximum visible distance. Conversely, this sets the farthest distance at which objects are rendered. Clipping distant objects can reduce render times and memory usage, a technique commonly used in video games to manage rendering load. Lens blur. This section introduces realistic imperfections to the otherwise perfect digital lens. Lens blur type. You can choose between different blur algorithms. Blackman-Harris provides realistic blur, mimicking the imperfections found in real camera lenses. Gaussian. A common blur type familiar to most users. It offers a softer and more generalized blur effect. Box. This option essentially disables lens blur, leading to a sharper image but can introduce aliasing artifacts. The lens settings in the Super Advanced Camera add-on offer a range of tools to realistically mimic real-world camera behaviors. By adjusting tilt shift, focal length or field of view, visible distances, and lens blur, you can significantly enhance the realism and artistic appeal of your Blender scenes. Understanding and utilizing these settings will elevate your 3D projects, providing a professional touch to your renders. The autofocus feature is a sophisticated tool designed to enhance the realism and focus accuracy in your Blender scenes. Let's break down each setting for a detailed understanding. Autofocus mode. This determines how the camera decides what to focus on. The modes are: manual. Autofocus is disabled. You control the focus manually, setting it to a specific object or distance. Center. The camera automatically focuses on whatever is in the center of the frame, ideal for straightforward compositions where the subject is centrally placed. Area. This mode calculates an average focus point over the entire image. It's useful when you have multiple subjects at different depths and want to keep as much as possible in focus. Cursor. The focus is set to the location of the cursor. This offers precise control when you want to focus on a specific part of the scene that isn't necessarily at the center. Interval setting. This is especially important for animations. It defines how often the camera updates its focus point. The interval is measured in frames. For instance, setting an interval of 5 means the focus will update every 5 frames. A lower interval can result in a jittery focus, especially if the subject moves rapidly or the depth of field is shallow. A higher interval provides smoother focusing but might miss rapid changes in the scene's focal point. Autofocus frame button. When clicked, this sets the focus for the current frame based on the selected autofocus mode. It's a quick way to apply autofocus for a single frame, useful for still renders or when you need to manually adjust focus at specific points in an animation. Autofocus animation. This is a powerful feature for animations. When activated, Super Advanced Camera goes through each frame of your scene, based on a defined interval, and applies the autofocus. This automates the process of adjusting the focus throughout an animation, saving time and ensuring consistent focus accuracy. Reset autofocus. This function removes any autofocus settings applied to the selected camera. It's useful when you want to start over or switch to manual focusing after using autofocus. The autofocus feature in Super Advanced Camera provides a range of options to automate and precisely control the focus in your Blender scenes. Whether you're working on a static image or a dynamic animation, these settings offer the flexibility to achieve the desired level of focus with ease and accuracy. By understanding and utilizing these tools, you can add a professional touch to your renders, enhancing their realism and visual appeal. Bokeh refers to the aesthetic quality of the blur produced in the out-of-focus parts of an image. In photography, this is often seen as beautiful, soft light circles or shapes that appear when the camera is focused on a specific object and the background or foreground is out of focus. Super Advanced Camera tries to simulate this effect to add realism and depth to your renders. Use Bokeh. To activate the Bokeh effect in Super Advanced Camera, you need to first enable it by clicking the Use Bokeh button. This is the initial step to start customizing your Bokeh effects. focus object and focus distance. These options determine what the camera will focus on. Focus object allows you to select a specific object in your scene that the camera will keep in focus. Alternatively, focus distance sets a manual focus point in the scene. If you have the autofocus feature enabled, it can automatically adjust the focus distance based on the chosen settings. F-stop. This setting is derived from real-world camera terminology. The f-stop in the camera controls the aperture, which is the opening in the lens through which light passes. A lower f-stop value means a wider aperture, leading to a shallower depth of field and more pronounced bokeh effect. Conversely, a higher f-stop value results in a narrower aperture and a deeper focus range, reducing the bokeh effect. Adjusting this in Super Advanced Camera allows you to control the depth of field in your scene. Apply bokeh. After setting up your focus and f-stop, clicking Apply Bokeh will activate the effect in your scene. This is where you can choose the type of bokeh effect you want. Bokeh type camera. In this mode, you can choose from a variety of real-world bokeh effects captured from actual camera lenses. These provide a highly realistic bokeh effect. Each option comes with details like the manufacturer name, model, focal length, and aperture used for capturing that specific bokeh, allowing you to match the bokeh effect with the type of scene or lens you're simulating. Huge thanks to Professor Dr. Matt Gunn from the Aberystwyth University for providing us with these amazing textures. Bokeh type procedural. This mode offers a less realistic but computationally faster bokeh effect. It's more stylized and allows for creative freedom without the constraints of real-world lens characteristics. Here, you don't get previews, so you would need to render your scene to see the results. This mode is ideal for artistic interpretations or when you need to save on render time. Bokeh type custom. If the preset options don't fit your needs, the custom mode allows you to use your own bokeh images. This could be any image you choose, offering maximum creative control. You could replicate specific artistic effects or create a unique bokeh style that's not possible with traditional camera lenses. Scale and rotation. After applying your chosen bokeh type, you can further customize its appearance with scale and rotation settings. These settings allow you to adjust the size of the bokeh effect, scale, and its orientation, rotation, in your scene, offering further artistic control. This can be especially useful for aligning the bokeh with lighting sources or compositional elements in your scene. Exposure compensation. This setting tries to counteract the darkening effect that can occur when using a wide aperture, low f-stop value in real-world photography. Larger apertures allow more light into the camera, which can sometimes result in a darker image. Exposure compensation in Super Advanced Camera allows you to adjust the brightness of your image to balance this effect, maintaining the desired exposure levels in your render. Blades. In the procedural bokeh mode, blades defines the shape of the bokeh. A value of 0 results in a perfectly round shape, while higher values create polygonal shapes like a triangle, 3 blades, a square, 4 blades, and so on. This setting can dramatically change the character and feel of the bokeh, offering creative possibilities that go beyond traditional round bokeh shapes. Ratio. This setting adjusts the aspect ratio of the bokeh shapes, allowing you to stretch or squash them. This can simulate anamorphic lens effects or create stylistic bokeh shapes that add a unique character to your renders. The bokeh feature in the Super Advanced Camera add-on offers a wide range of settings to simulate the depth of field effects seen in real-world photography and cinematography. By understanding and creatively using these settings, you can add a layer of realism, focus, and artistic flair to your renders. Whether you're aiming for photorealistic results or unique visual styles, the Super Advanced Camera bokeh tools provide the flexibility and control needed to achieve your artistic vision. Thank you for following the first part of the Super Advanced Camera add-on tutorial. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more tutorials, tips, and insights into Blender add-ons. Your support helps us create more content to empower your creativity. Stay creative, be productive, and, most importantly, have fun.